Now I want to end today. By the way, you all have been great. This will be my seventh or eighth video today. Look, there was a lot of news from over the weekend, and I'm really happy that you continue to just check the channel because notifications are relevant. So if you haven't already, I hope now will be the time in which I earn your subscription just by hitting that little red subscribe button down below the video. And if you enjoy it, just remember to hit like and leave a comment on it. YouTube doesn't promote channels like mine very often, and so I rely entirely on all of you. Now, video game awards are largely pointless. They are, in my opinion, a form of political statement often, as opposed to choosing necessarily the best candidate for the job. Now, BAFTA is an organization which is a super woke would be an understatement. It's the British Academy Film Awards. And according to a Russian person, says an entertaining training manual for games from BAFTA. Want a nomination? Add. Now, this is if you want to be nominated for any type of award for BAFTA. Standard A, in-game representation, themes, and narratives. Let's just have a little fun with this. I was going to live stream this, and I might still later, but I wanted to get this down because somebody got paid for this. Somebody got paid to spend time to create this how-to guide. Detail how the video game will address underrepresentation in the lead and secondary characters, playable character rosters, casting choices, the main and secondary storylines, themes and narratives, and where the game is set. Identify where unfamiliar characters or themes, narratives that are not frequently portrayed in games are shown from a new perspective. Describe where there are complex and non-stereotypical representation of characters or cultures who are normally relegated to two-dimensional roles. Detail the perspective of the narrative of the game, of the theme of the game, and how it affects the way in which characters or cultures are represented, portrayed. To achieve standard A, you must meet three of the criteria below. Lead characters, playable characters. At least one of the lead characters is from an underrepresented group. From non-narrative games where the cast is an ensemble, the total roster of playable games must meet one or more of the below targets. A 50-50 gender balance, 20% belonging to an underrepresented ethnic group, 10% must be LGBTQ+. Really? Is that even... 5%. A 2017 Gallup poll concluded that 4.5% of adult Americans identify as LGBT. In order to win an award, you must overrepresent them. 7% must be deaf and disabled. Wait, what? What is that? I thought I saw it defined somewhere. What does deaf mean? The term deaf, I'm only saying that ironically, is used throughout higher education and research to describe students who are deaf, sign language users, and deaf who are hard of hearing but still have English as their first language and may lip read. D/deaf is often used as a shortcut to describe both groups. Okay, so you've got to have 7% deaf and disabled cast. What the? Significant amount of characters featuring regional diversity. Okay, fine. Significant amount of characters are from a lower socioeconomic background. Fine. You should explain where there are characters that are not frequently portrayed on screen and or how the game is offering non-stereotypical representation. Category 2. This is a perfect example. I can't think of a better example of why you should never pay any attention to any award ever. This is the, this is the crap that they're actually judging it on. Other characters. The total of your secondary characters or principal non-player characters, NPCs, must meet a 50-50 gender balance. Are you saying there's only 2 genders, BAFTA? Oh no! Oh no! And they have the same thing, 20% LGBTQ, 10%, 7% deaf. All right, so half of your main characters and your secondary characters must also apply to that. Main is storyline subject matter. Mainline or subject matter. The main storyline, themes, or narrative of the game is about underrepresented groups. The game should demonstrate diversity across the majority of the playtime in order to meet A3, not just a single section or element. This is like, you could use this guide, okay, to reverse engineer most AAA video games nowadays. Like, now you know. Now you know why the games look the way they do. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm not. I'm just saying this is why. Other storylines. There are other elements of the video game storyline, subject matter, character backstory about underrepresented groups. The location. The setting is wholly or partially in an underrepresented region or community. If the game takes place in an imagined or fantastical setting, please detail how this relates to real-world underrepresented regions or communities. You should explain where there are settings and communities that are not frequently portrayed on screen. Casting. Casting choices of voice artists that address underrepresentation and challenge tropes and stereotypes. For games that feature background NPCs or crowds, does the game ensure the underrepresented groups are featured in significant amounts? I want people to remember that next time they're playing John Madden football. Look at those little pixels in the eye and make sure that there's a good representation. Now, Standard B is about creative leadership on the development team. These are the people that are making the game. Detail how the video game will address underrepresentation in its creative leadership and or development team. Identify the roles filled by people from underrepresented group. Let's just say non-white. And the underrepresented group they are from, I suppose, non-white, non-straight. That's really what they mean, right? Non-white, non-straight. Non-white male, non-straight. Non-white cis male. That's going to be what this is. If there's any more than one person in any one role, you may describe how multiple underrepresented individuals are being employed in this role. Whether it's too early to process to confirm who you are hiring for roles, you will not be asked to identify individuals by name, but please note that where total development size is less than 10, allowances will be made. Wow, thanks. This is literally a guide to woke video games. Department heads. At least one or more of the following targets are met for the following head of departments. Whether you're animation director, art director, audio director, this is literally quotas. Hiring quotas. This is bananas. You must have a gender balance, same percentage, 10% LGBTQ, which is double their actual percentage. I don't know what percentage of people are deaf, but 7% seems high. Let's see, deaf. 0.2%. I don't know why they're focusing on deaf, but whatever. Other key roles, at least one or more of the following targets must be met. And so they have positions here that you must also have the exact same. Then you have development team supporting roles. At least one or more of the following targets are met for the overall development team. So you must have this. You must have work practices where you have equality and discrimination policies, especially when hiring, disciplinary and grievance procedures, HR and mediation challenge, adoption of BAFTA's bullying and harassment guidelines, and adoption of Yuki's Raise the Game pledge. You literally have to like worship at their church. This is insane. I can't even, there's no way this was meant for public consumption. There's simply no way. Detail how your video game addresses underrepresentation in relation to paid roles, such as internships, apprenticeships, and specialist advisor roles, trainee roles, work experience opportunities, promotions, and first job roles. And they're going to have the same. Team members from underrepresented groups are given a role that constitutes career progression. Given a role, not earned one. Team members from underrepresented group are given their first profession non-trainee role on the game. Mentorship programs for all people underrepresented groups must be run as a part of the game's production. Imagine having to jump through all these hoops. All of these hoops. And then worry about making a good game. I mean, that's what's happening here, right? They have to jump through all of these hoops. And then, and only then, do they get to worry about making a good game. I mean, is it any wonder that you have so many weirdos on Twitter from the video game industry? This is exactly why. I hope you enjoyed this little look inside the insanity that is the video game industry. We'll talk to you again real soon.